Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtapraeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavad Gita has a speech. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Shrimad God Srimad Premanand Hare Hare Bol Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. A big welcome to all of you from our from India. Hope you can hear me well. I'm trying to do things on my mobile, so you're not able to see me. But yeah, can you all hear me well? If you can respond, please, that'd be great. I can't see you because I'm doing other things.
Yes, Prabhu.
Great. Wonderful. Hare Krishna. All right, so let us do get more sharing. Okay, who would like to take the lead, please? And start the program. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'll start. Thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for organizing this program and giving me the opportunity to share my realization. And Hare Krishna to all the devotees. My realization is on the Guru Maharaj's mellow that His Grace Amrish Prabhu shared. I will read the mellow and then I will share my realization. So the mellow is that with humility and austerity, if we achieve, we do not have to run after Vishuddha Sattvam. Vishuddha Sattvam will run after us. We are all very special and we are chosen by Krishna. So many living entities are there. Out of all of them, human beings are very few. Out of human beings also, savage, untrained, ignorant human beings are there. Only a very few are a bit conscious. Out of that lot also, very few are interested to know what is beyond material life. Out of that also, this Krishna conscious crowd is very rare. And out of this also, those who try very sincerely are very, very rare. And they are chosen by him. They don't have anything, but they don't lack anything. Only one thing we should do, our japa mala must move very sincerely. Bhagavad Gita must be studied. Srimad Bhagavatam must be scrutinizingly studied. His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. Jai. And Vishuddha Sattvam is when one is in his pure original constitutional position. So, so what I have realized that yes, out of many living entities, we have got this chance by the extreme causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev. Otherwise, I don't have any qualification. And current civilization is promoting only animalistic life. As Srila Prabhupada said, is godless civilization. So the importance of this chance and gift given to us is explained here. Some of the things we take for granted when it is given to us, we don't give any value to it. And Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, actually verse 3 also says the same thing. Manushyanam saharseshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvatah. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, really one knows me in truth. Hardly one knows in me truth. So Krishna consciousness is topmost, and there are different transcendentalists at different stages, like impersonalists, Mayavadis, Shunyavadis, yogis, meditators, philosophers, speculators. So there are many varieties of transcendentalists. But as Guru Maharaj said, that this Krishna conscious crowd is rare. So Srila Prabhupada established ISKCON to bring together Krishna consciousness crowd and preach this message to general mass everywhere. Further, Guru Maharaj said that out of Krishna conscious crowd, there are sincerely trying are very, very rare. Sorry, those are sincerely trying. So now this point, I have realized that sincere effort is so much important, and this will come with humility and austerity. When we perform austerity for Krishna in a humble way, our capacity may be different. Everyone's ability is different, but sincere effort must be there, and no compromising in sincerity. Actually, there is past time I remember Amrish Prabhu explained that also previously, that in Ramayana, when everyone doing all the big monkeys, they all building the bridge for Lord Ram to cross over to Lanka. Then a little squirrel also putting small grain of sand between big stones, and others were laughing, but that what little grain will do, but grain of sand will do in a building bridge. But Lord Ram recognized that squirrel and his sincere effort. So it doesn't matter how big or how small our capacity is, the sincere effort should be there. So same way, my capacity may be like squirrel, but the sincerity and humility is the main thing. Actually, in preaching, this is very important. Continuity in preaching programs and humility. Humility means like boldness, boldly we preach the message of Srila Prabhupada. And people may like it or people don't like it. So this is what I have realized, that Krishna consciousness is the topmost yoga. And once we know that it's very few who can follow Krishna consciousness sincerely, then it makes me very humble, and I can see where I am standing, because these are different levels in Krishna consciousness. Because this is actually given in Shri Ishopanishad also, the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. And Srila Prabhupada said that we should try to come to Madhyam Adhikari stage at least. So when we're following the process, then we should see changes in ourselves. If change is not coming, then it means that we are not following the process properly, because there is no fault with the process, because it has been tested and given to us by acharyas. So we are actually our own judge. And when we in this mellow, when I read it, I realized that it's different. It's like so many living entities out there, and when we see it, that is very, very few people who come to Krishna consciousness. Means it's not like we shouldn't be taking it for granted. Put it that way. Like it's no way that like we can just carry on like any other process. So it's the more we know about it, the more we think that okay, we should be. It's a big responsibility actually. It's a very big responsibility. So yes, probably. So that's what I realized from this mellow. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sanjay Prabhu. Very nice. So our Hare Krishna weekend programs, we are actually an educational institution where we teach the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. One. Second, and how to become a devotee of Krishna. These two things we teach in a step-by-step manner. So the difference in which what we do and how, if we have a temple, what we do, like for example, ISKCON temples, is that they have deities. So the moment you have all this, then you will require funds, you require people, you require things to go around. And for us, our deities are Srila Prabhupada's books. So for example, only those who are really interested in philosophically understanding the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhāgavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and how to implement in one's life at every stage. This education institution is for them. So we should be very clear about this, what we are doing. Like I went yesterday to the temple here. So you have deities, beautifully decorated, gorgeous deities, and you've got, as you go out, there are samosas, vadas, cakes, this big Mahaprasad sold, which is great. They require these things to, everybody is running out to have big 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 50 rupees, all these things. I was a part of it, So if you are one of those, say, I like this way, I have to go to temple, give my 20 rupees there, and then rush out and then buy my gulab jamuns and samosas and pizzas and this and that, and fill up and then go and eat. I feel very good about it. No problem, you can do that. So that is your devotion. So it is okay. If we do, I realize this, that if we have deities, if we have temples and deities, we'll do the same thing. But because we are free, we actually have just the books. Our infrastructure are our people. And we request all of them to say that, okay, you can and you must spend time in studying these books. So our deities are our books, Prabhupada's books. And our personal sadhana and sense control is what we have wealth that we give to Krishna. And our own home, we try to convert into a temple as much as possible. That is what we try to do. That's what we try to achieve. And of course, we go to temples also, those things. But this is the main focus. This is where we do things. This is what we are. So if anybody asks or talks, this is what we are. Okay. And I keep repeating this again and again. So if we don't lose focus, don't lose focus. So only those who are seriously interested in studying the books will be with us. And those are intelligent class of people, as Prabhupada says. Prabhupada started the whole movement. Prabhupada said, we are like hospitals. All temples are like hospitals. The philosophy is taught step by step to everyone who comes. So they are doing their best. But we are very, very, very 100% directly focused on this point. Anyone who joins us they would be inspired with intelligence. The intellect will be very much inspired, and they can never ever forget us. So always remember, invite your friends, invite your relatives, and let them know this is not. If they just want to go out, see your deities, give your money there, and then go and have prasadam. We also will do prasad distribution. We have our own prasad distribution system, but that's distribution. So yeah, I just thought I'll. Hare Krishna. So now, who would like to take the lead, please? Lead. Hare Krishna. I must say, before you guys prepare, I must speak something, so I speak. Everyone's quiet.
Okay. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Rish Prabhu, for giving us opportunity to share our realizations. And thank you, Sanjay Prabhu, for your very nice realization and starting this program. So my realization actually recently means actually I was thinking about how the things are actually panning out in the world, in the current world at the moment. And as everyone actually aware, all that is currently going on with actually the COVID-19 pandemic, and more recently this Ukraine war. And as a result of this, there is no peace anywhere in the world, and even the nations who are fighting, they are suffering anyway. But along with them, the rest of the world is also actually pulled into that, and they are also started to feel the effect of it, and everyone is suffering. And there is always always something supernatural disasters are actually always happening around the world. Yeah, the earthquakes, tsunamis are getting more and more common, and actually the modern science actually is always blame all these actually, especially anything to do with the nature, onto this global warming, which is sort of true, looking at it scientifically. But I was actually, and with COVID-19, actually, there is a big rise in mental health problem everywhere. And now people are actually also, a lot of people, we can see the changes in the people in the workplace. And there is also phenomena, actually now, actually, you may have actually, heard about is actually, they call it, there is a great, what they call it, it used to be Great Depression, and now this, during COVID pandemic, there is a trend, there are a lot of people are resigning from their jobs.
Stagflation.
Inflation, yeah.
Like stagnated inflation. Stagnated economy, inflation is going up.
Yeah, that when, and people are actually, a lot of people means, fortunately, we are not that much affected by this pandemic. Actually, thanks to Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and this, Krishna conscious philosophy and association of all the devotees. Means we have been through it, but actually, from my experience, it didn't really affect that much on our mental health, or even, you managed to actually still do our day-to-day things normally, which is actually within this pandemic is something, we should appreciate what we gained because of following this Hare Krishna lifestyle. So actually, it came into my reading, actually, and means everyone actually have similar comments that actually things are getting, they're worse and worse day by day, and everyone is actually expecting that, they are actually hoping this all these things will settle down, in near future, and they will back to normal life. But it doesn't seem like, the things are happening one after another, and we are getting more and more dragged into more anxiety, so there is no ray of hope that things will actually come back to normal very quickly. So I was actually studying, and I came to this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 10, verse 6. And Srila Prabhupada actually gave the very nice purport. Actually, when I read it, actually, it sounded like Srila Prabhupada answered all the questions. As it says, Srimad Bhagavatam has solution for all the material and spiritual problems, and it's a timeless literature. So I would like to actually recite this verse. Nadayo vyadaha klesha daiva bhutatma hetavaha ajat shastrava abhavan jantu namam rajni karhi chita. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Because of the kings having no enemy, the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, diseases, or excessive heat and cold. So here, actually, the King Yudhishthir Maharaj, actually, in this verse, there is a discussion about King Yudhishthir Maharaj, who is actually addressed here as Ajata Shatru, unto one who has no enemy or whose enemy is never born. So means I have certainly heard this, from Rishi Prabhu in the past about this actually Ajata Shatru, and what that mean is actually one's enemy is never born. That means it is actually he never considered anyone as his enemy, but actually, as you know, in Mahabharata, almost the whole world is actually against the Pandavas, and they thought that the Pandavas are their enemies, and obviously Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was heading the 5 Pandavas. So he has many enemies, but he never considered anyone as an enemy of him. That is one of the wonderful characteristics of a devotee. And here, Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport that actually to be non-violent to the human beings and to be a killer, an enemy of a poor animal is a Satan's philosophy. So, it's a punchline. When I read it, I think Srila Prabhupada is so true that actually it's a lot of hypocrisy in this world. And Srila Prabhupada says that actually in this age, there is enmity toward poor animal, and therefore poor creatures are always anxious. And the reaction of the poor animals is being forced on human society. And therefore, there is always a strain of cold or hot war between men, individually, collectively, or nationally. At the time of Maharaj Yudhishthir, there were no different nations. So when Maharaj Yudhishthir ruled this earthly kingdom, there were no divisions into different nations, but there were subordinate states. And he was the king. And because he was very religious, and actually he was very submissive to the sages, and actually he was a devotee of Lord Krishna, he was recognized by the Lord. And because of that, he managed to actually keep the inhabitants or citizens of his state free from anxiety, disease, excessive heat and cold. They were not only economically well-to-do, but also physically fit and undisturbed by supernatural power, by enmity and from the enmity from other living beings, and by the disturbance of bodily and mental agonies. So that sums up everything that we actually currently are experiencing in this world. No? We are not free from any of that is mentioned here. So we have the war going, people are suffering physically, they're suffering mentally, there is a disturbance by the, various natural disasters. So everything is there, it's totally opposite of what actually, how it is used to be during the rule of Yudhishthir Maharaj, And it was similar, we also read about Lord Ram, Ram Raj. It was similar description, people were free from all these agonies and, diseases and supernatural disasters. Everything was very calm, and there was cooperation between God and man and God and nature, everything was very balanced. So people were actually happy. So this is actually the value of following the Vedic culture, So in today's world, the leaders are not trained like that, there is a lot of hypocrisy. And Srila Prabhupada actually gave a proverb in this purport where he says, bad king spoils the kingdom and the bad housewife spoils the family. So it's very true, actually, when actually leaders who are actually leading these nations, if they are not actually God conscious, there is no hope for the citizens of their state, they're bound to actually spoil because they're all actually, affected by this actually Kali Yuga and all the modes of material nature, this illusion, Mayadevi. So that's why we're all suffering because our leaders are not God conscious. And second point, actually, I really like where he says, unless one is pious and recognized by the Lord, he cannot make others happy who are under his care. So actually, I thought about this quite a great deal. I think it was very true. So it's not just applicable to the big leaders who are leading the nation. It is applicable to everyone, who have somebody under his care. So if you want to actually make people who are following you or under your care, if you want to make them happy, then first you have to be actually a good devotee, become a good devotee. And you have to actually raise yourself to the platform that you are actually recognized by the Lord and the parampara. Then and then you can actually feel some peace. You can bring some peace to these people who are under your care. So I was thinking, and since we actually joined this program, and as you know, that everyone who used to come to our program, they always used to share this realization that they always feel some kind of peace, whenever they come to the program and attend and listen to our program. So, and we experience the same. And because we are actually following the program, following, Hare Krishna weekend, Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and their instruction, we're not 100% actually implementing, but to the best of our abilities, we try to actually stick to the instructions. And that's why I feel that we are actually protected even during this very tumultuous time of actually pandemic and all this, what is happening in today's world. We are not that much actually affected by all this. So actually means it's fortunate to come into the association of such a great devotees, this Hare Krishna weekend, Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, these are the actually pure devotees. And because of their mercy, and I'm pretty sure they are recognized by the Lord, and that's why we all feel peace. So, so that is actually what I realized. And now, actually, everyone in this program, especially our leaders program, they are preaching. So probably they also have the similar responsibility. Who are following them, I think they should be able to make them happy or peaceful. And it's a big challenge, because as Guru Maharaj says, Guru Maharaj actually means Amrish Prabhu shared his instruction where Guru Maharaj told that somehow we have to make people satisfied with what they have, having their self-satisfaction. So as a preacher, if you want to preach, we have to actually inculcate that quality of being satisfied with what we have. The hankering should go away. And when we are actually peaceful, and when we think that actually these instructions are actually helping us, and we're satisfied with our position, then we can able to actually give some satisfaction to the people who are following us. Otherwise, if we are ourselves disturbed, how we can actually expect people who are following us to be happy under our care? So I think Srila Prabhupada actually means this is the statement made here by Srila Prabhupada is very important one. So actually that's what I realized. And finally, Srila Prabhupada actually sums up the purport by saying, the attitude of exploiting one another, the custom of a day will only bring misery. So, which is actually very true, It's, in today's world is very, very true. Actually, exploitation is everywhere. It's just like a food chain, everyone try to actually prey on the weaker. So this actually attitude has to go away, And as our Bhagavad Dharma teaches us, to be actually very merciful towards all living entities, we have to actually see them on the same platform, and actually we should not bring, discrimination or any kind of discrimination based on any level. So that way, I think we all can become peaceful. So Prabhupada is very right. The answer to actually world peace is only one, to make all this living entities Krishna conscious, and then that's the only way. As the Srila Prabhupada always state, the Ishawasam principle, that actually we have to recognize that Lord is actually, he's the owner of everything in this material and spiritual world, and we have to recognize and we have to act accordingly. So that way we can actually have the peace in your individual life and collectively, in the world as well. So that is my realization. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Siddhartha. It's a very nice realization. It's very good. Very good. And putting it into practice, in today's world, it's very important too. Very nice. Thank you very much. Also, I want to do a very quick, by the time somebody else prepares, to speak, as they prepare, instead of wasting the time, spending the time quiet, I want to ask you a question, especially to young mothers. And so what when Prabhupada said that the leaders of society, they are bad, then the country will be bad. The wife of the house is neglectful, the house will be bad. So what do you think of this? Is it bad women are demeaned in this situation? Or women are uplifted in this situation? I'll be the answer. Because we are materially conditioned, we think, this is why only a woman. Husband should also be the case. Husband is bad, family is bad. Absolutely right. But husband is not the leader. What is the comparison done here? The leader of a country is bad. The country will be bad. And the wife is bad. The family will be suffering. So whom is wife compared to? Leader or the population? See? We are the condition, So think like this. This is where I can guarantee you. Sorry, I can't guarantee anything. But I can tell with reasonable certainty. This thinking, this subtle thinking comes out of peace of mind. That you will get from all programs by the mercy of Guru Maharaj. So running around doing all things, you will certainly become like outsiders who are not devotees. They say, why women are demeaned? Always demeaned. They're not demeaned. They're compared to leaders. I'll be very upset if they say, I should be upset as a man. Men are the leader. That's why. Man is a leader also. Man is certainly a leader for everything. But here, the heart of the house is the woman. So, but if unfortunately the women start to think that no, I'm equal to men, man is not the heart of the house. He doesn't even know most of the time what's going on in the house. He doesn't only his thing. What if they understand this is where the children are, this is what their food is, time is there now, husband's time is there, now I should do this, my time is there, now I need help. That's what women does. So, well, I just thought food for thought. Self-realization is food for thought. Thank you very much. Now, who would like to take the lead, please? Hare Krishna. Sorry, anyone wants to dispute this, what I just said now? Please be fair. This is an interactive realization session, so if you feel like that, just please say. We'll wait for 10 seconds. I'm lagging a bit, is it? I can be heard properly. All right, so let's continue with the program. Who would like to take the lead? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Please.
Yes, Prabhuji, your voice is breaking.
So you guys could not hear me? What I was saying? You couldn't hear me?
Not very clear, Prabhuji. Like some things we can hear, can understand, but some we have to infer.
Oh, so did you hear what I just said about comparison of women and the leaders? That was clear to all of you? No? I should repeat again.
Yeah, I think I should.
Okay, I'll repeat quickly again. So, as in the purport which Srila Prabhupada read, Srila Prabhupada said that when the leaders of the society, when they are bad, the society suffers. And if the wife of the family, when she's bad, the family suffers. So ordinarily, people who do not have much intelligence, they'll immediately say, why is women, this is women's deprivation. If the woman is not, the wife is not, the family is suffering. Well, actually, Prabhupada is comparing the leaders and the women, not the population and the women. So she is the leader of the house. So that's a very important role which she plays in the family. Just like the leaders are playing the role in the society. But I can tell you with reasonable certainty, majority of intellectual people also who do not have spiritual intellect and training, they'll misunderstand it in this way. I can say with reasonable certainty, not full certainty, there will be many words, but it requires a lot of maturity to understand this. Is this okay? Did you hear me well, all of you? Just put a thumbs up so I can know. Put a thumbs up. Right. I think that's good. Right. So who would like to take the lead now? You guys, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much, Amrish Prabhu, for connecting us from Mumbai, India. And thanks to this technology now, we can all be so close and we can feel each other. We can talk to each other, we can share, we can participate. So this is extraordinary, Prabhu. Thank you very much. And thank you, Sanju Prabhu and Sridhar Prabhu, for your wonderful realization as always, and very enlightening and taking a lot of initiative. And thank you to all devotees, Matajis, for tolerating me and giving your time. Hare Krishna. So this giving realization is actually, I find it hard because I've been giving realizations for so long, and how can I keep giving realizations? But realizing something which you experience, you feel, you connect with scriptures, or you connect with people who you are talking to, or the group activity is happening. So, and yesterday we had discussion also that how to prepare realizations. So I'm also struggling, Prabhu. But anyway, I'll do my best. So, as we always say in this group, that we are training future preachers. And that's why this particular special group, it is not out of ego, it's not of anything else. This group is actually special. And that's why many people may find that they don't actually fit in here, which is more to do with them, not to what we do. So going back to that preaching activity where I try to focus and try to understand the mood, the philosophy, so that we can simplify and ask this and answer to these young people who are coming to us for getting answers, that how practically they can apply, as Sridhar Prabhu says, in the changing world so rapidly, Kali Yuga progressing. It's actually very difficult out there. Getting job and surviving the job. And even if you're in a job, the atmosphere is so bad that you just have forgotten the difference that what is good and what is bad. Even bad is good now. Correct, Preeti? Yes. Anyway, so I was reading this quote from His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Upadeshavali. Just a quote. He talks about, he's giving instructions, he's telling about the preaching. So preaching without proper conduct fall within the category of karma, mundane activity. Without criticizing the nature of others, one should correct oneself. This is my personal instruction. So this is coming from Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj. So how careful as a preacher we have to be. Then we have to same time guide people, judge people, tell them you are not right. That's how it is. It is a very, very difficult task. It's a very difficult task, and it's very easy to upset people. It happens to me all the time. Maybe I still need to learn. But yes, that's Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj telling about the quality of a preacher. Now, going back to realization, which I realized and picked up for this week, is from one of the posts in the group on Bhagavad Gita, which Amrish Prabhu keeps doing it whether we read it or not. I know we all read, but there are people who don't find time, because I have come across those people, correct? So they're honest people. So this is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 44, very famous verse. He talks about Vyavasatmika Buddhi, and he talks about Samadhi, how this is connected to the mind, and how that mind is actually can take us to the super soul realization, which I'll share as my realization, which is a process. And it doesn't stop there, it actually goes further. So, Bhogaishvara prashaktanam taya prahita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadho na vidhiyate. Very important word is vyavasatmika. I come from Hindi background, so I have a different understanding of vyavasai. What is your vyavasai? What is your profession? What is your job? I'm a doctor, that's my vyavasai, I'm this. But Prabhupada in this verse and the previous verse, it gives very nice meaning. And then if you meditate on this, you actually understand that how it is, why Prabhupada is doing like this. Vyavasayatmika, fixed in determination. So that's the beauty of this scripture, this verses sung by none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then nicely explained. And I'm sure most of us actually will not have any understanding unless we read to Srila Prabhupada's translation and purport. So the translation goes like this: in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Very simple, straightforward. So who are the people who will not get attracted? Who are attached to sense enjoyment. And very nicely Prabhupada writes here, who are too attached to sense enjoyment. Means you are allowed to attach to sense enjoyment, but in a regulated manner. And that becomes hard part to actually regulate it, because we don't know the boundaries. We just cross those boundaries without actually understanding it. So in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So Krishna is giving, he understands our situation, he is giving us option, and Prabhupada has spoken on this a lot, that whatever possible, as much as possible as a devotional service. So being engaged in sense enjoyment and material opulence, and that becomes a skill, And that's where the preacher or the person who are trying to, who are servant, there's some people will say we are servant if you're not preacher. So who try to tell them that how we actually make devotees or the future devotees understand that how this has to be done. And this is the most common question I come across. Most common question I come across. Prabhuji, can I do this? Prabhuji, I can do this. Prabhuji, I cannot do this. So this is too attached to sense enjoyment. And in the purport, Prabhupada further writes, which again, we understand the same line, which goes further into the description of some important words that I don't know what we understand. Samadhi means, if you ask to a yogi, Samadhi means close your eyes, put your hand like this and say Om. That's Samadhi. But Prabhupada writes in the purport here, Samadhi means fixed mind. End of story. When the mind is fixed for understanding the self, even more simple. When the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is said to be in the Samadhi. So we can, as Amrish was saying, that our temples are our book. So we're in actually Samadhi when we are trying to fix our mind on these activities. Understanding the self, actually we're trying to understand self. And Samadhi is never possible for persons who are interested in material sense enjoyment and bewildered by such temporary things. So same thing Prabhupada writes in the purport, that who can actually go into Samadhi. Samadhi is fixed mind, not wavering mind. So what happens, just to conclude my realization, what happens when the mind is actually fixed and we are actually able to control mind? We all know that it is impossible to control mind. Actually, we cannot control mind. But if at all we learn that skill, how to control mind, then what happens? So that's a famous verse 6.7, Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, verse 7. Jitat manah prasantasya paramatma samadhitaha shitoshna sukha dukkhesu tatha mana pamanayoha. Translation. For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. That is what happens when you conquer your mind by getting to Samadhi. It is a process, very difficult process. It is impossible. And when I talk to the new devotees, as soon as they start chanting, as soon as they focus their mind, they immediately come back with a difference in their thought process, in their thinking, the way feel it, and actually most of them try to continue this chanting and how to actually control the mind. So I thought, as a preacher, it's very difficult to limit our boundaries, because so that's what we need to understand, that skill. And for us also, who are trying to preach, conquering the mind remains a challenge. So it is for me actually to be engaged and remain engaged. And thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you, Babu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Okay, now I just wanted to quickly introduce my mother. She has joined us here. Some of you must have seen her, met her before, but some of you have not. So one second, I'll just where did it happen? Hare Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna. Here she is.
हरे कृष्णा। अच्छा लगा आप सब लोग इकट्ठे हुए।
Hare Krishna, Maharaji.
आवाज जो सुनने को मिला बहुत बढ़िया लगा।
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji, for giving us Amrish Prabhu.
Yes.
We are very fortunate.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, who would like to be the by the time you prepare, I'll say a couple of sentences. So Ravina Shubhu very nicely gave
Sorry.
realization.
Laggy again.
So laggy again. Okay, just wait for seconds. Should come through. So this is not what do you call it? Fiber. So it's going to be a bit tricky. Yes, sir. It's okay now? This is all right. Okay. Right. So just by the time everybody comes in, so realization now, the thing is that what Avinash Prabhu very nicely mentioned about preachers, what preachers should be doing. So it's a very tough situation. And what about, because preachers are not preaching to sadhus, they're preaching to all kinds of rogues and rascals. They don't want to become devotees. It's not, there are those who want to become devotees and they come searching. So all our Vedic culture, if you see, if you know, in Bhagavatam and all, everyone wanted to become devotees, so they went. Either you, Dhruv Maharaj went. Dhruv Maharaj was a devotee. Kutsu Maharaj, who was the incarnation of Krishna, at the end of the life, wanted to search out more, so he became a devotee. Bharat Maharaj wanted to become a devotee, so he left his kingdom. Whereas we are not doing that. In Kali Yuga, we are not waiting for people to come to us to become devotees, do we? Nobody will come. And in fact, we would also not go, to be honest with you. So as Maharaj would tell, that you must be there where there are people, that is our forest, and work hard to make people inclined towards devotional service. So it's going to be more tough and more tough. And because more tough, it's going to be more easier with this all these problems with corona and interpersonal situation and all. I'm already seeing in these 3-4 days how India has changed totally, completely, totally gone, totally different. So we have a hard task in hands. The whole world is for us for taking the right one. Okay, so please, this would have given some time to devotees to give your realization, prepare for it. So please feel free to speak. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for giving us an opportunity to give us our realization. My realization is based on yesterday's Shital Prabhu's class on Satya Ani Saundarya, is what was in Marathi. There's truth and beauty. Actually, that was published in Back to Godhead in 1958. And that was, I think, first published essay in Back to Godhead. And it was very nicely discussed yesterday. And the lecture was given by Shital Prabhu, was really very informative. So I thought I will share my realization very shortly. So actually, it contains it's very unforgettable story of the liquid beauty, in which Srila Prabhupada dramatically exposed the underlying principle of human sexuality. This exposition on the nature of truth and beauty is timeless and relevant for those who search for inner self. Many times we find that argument about whether the truth and beauty are same. Actually, the truth which is absolute is always beautiful. Like Lord Krishna, he is absolute, he is beautiful, he is famous, he is eternal, knowledgeable, and happy. So truth is so beautiful that it attracts everyone, including the truth itself. It's so beautiful that many sages, saints, devotees, they have left everything for the sake of truth. Like even Tukaram Maharaj, he was so truth and he was only remembering the God, God, God always. So at the end, what happened? We all know that the God himself, Vishnu himself, came to take him to the Godhead. Also, Srila Prabhupada discussed about Mahatma Gandhi, who was also the follower of the truth. Every one of us has urge to search the truth alone. The truth is not only beautiful, but also all powerful, all resourceful, all famous, all renounced, and all knowledgeable. Unfortunately, people have no information about the actual truth. Indeed, most of the 99.9% of men, all life of men, they pursuing the untruth only. In the name of truth, we are actually attracted by the beauty of the truth. But since time immemorial, we have been habituated to love of untruth appearing like a truth. Therefore, mundane truth and beauty are incompatible terms. Srila Prabhupada explains that it's a very nice story, and it's a once a man who was very powerful and strong built, his character was very doubtful, fell in love with a beautiful girl. The girl was not only beautiful but also saintly behavior, and as such, she told not like the man's advances. The man, however, was insistent because of his lustful desires, and therefore the girl requested him to wait for 7 days, and they set up time to meet after 7 days in particular place. The man agreed with high expectation, and he started waiting. The saintly girl, however, in order to manifest the real beauty and absolute truth, adapted a method of absolute truth. She took very strong medicine for 7 days. Thereby, she started continuously passed loose stools, vomited. Moreover, she became so thin. And what she did that was she stored all the loose stool and vomit in suitable pots. As a result, so-called beautiful girl became thin like a skeleton. Her complexion turned blackish. Eyes become eyes went into the socket of the skull. Later, she went to the place and waiting for that man. The man was waiting there for the beautiful girl. This on that particular scene, but the man, the well-dressed, well-behaved, asked the ugly girl who was sitting there, found waiting there about the beautiful girl, and he was to meet. The man could not recognize the girl. He saw the same beautiful girl for whom he was asking. Indeed, she repeatedly telling him that I'm the same girl. But because of her pitiable condition, he was unable to recognize her. At last, the girl told the powerful man that she had separated the ingredients of her beauty and stored in the pot. She told him to empty those juices. She told him that enjoy that juice which is in the pot. When he saw that juices in the pot, it was badly smelling, and he couldn't he could tolerate that smell. Finally, by the grace of the saintly girl, this man of a low character was able to distinguish between the shadow of the substances, and thus he came into his senses. Then he realized that, so what is beauty and what is the truth? So this man's position was similar to the position of everyone like us, like me, who is attracted by the false material beauty. We all are pursuing the false relative truth, which is incomplete with the real beauty. The actual truth is permanently beautiful. The beauty of the outer skin can be destroyed in only a few hours by a close of strong medicine. But the beauty of the truth is indestructible, always the same. Unfortunately, those who are ignorant in darkness, so they won't understand the beauty. The beautiful, the spark of the spirit, we are part and parcel of the God. So Mandevas do not know that the whole spiritual entity is the beautiful person who attracts everything. So since we all are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, we are Satchitanand. So we are, we should always think that's the eternal part of the God. We always think about the God. God is Satchitanand. Even Srila Prabhupada gives an example about the, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that one in his lecture, that he on the talking, I think one of the discussion on the scientists, they asked, the body made of chemicals. Srila Prabhupada says, yes, if the body makes up so many chemicals, why can't you make that chemical and create the one body, which is not possible. So now there are a lot of theories and everything is going on. But what I understand from this particular incident is that we must read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Thereby, we can understand everything, knowledge, everything, right from the what you want to, each and every step. If you read thoroughly Srila Prabhupada's book and be association with the devotees and be chanting and surrender to Krishna, so that you won't be hankering for the false things or what is happening in the material things. Also, I think one example we always remember, Srila Prabhupada mentioned and Amrish Prabhu always mentioned, that if you love someone, because we normally love our body, or love our husband, wife, friends, but if you love so much as so, if the person dies, can someone live with that person, a dead person, for 1 day, 2 days? No, we cannot, because there's a spark. That spark has already left, and that body is just sharir, that is a waste. So we must understand that we must surrender it to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and be always in association by chanting, by associating with the devotees, by reading the Srila Prabhupada's book. Thereby, you can understand. The one I understand, there was one question from one of the devotee, saying that in spite of all this, how people, they don't understand why they can't, because they don't understand the reason behind is that they are following the different path, and which devotees, those who are in the right path, those who are in the association of the devotees, those who are reading the Srila Prabhupada's book, his message, they will definitely understand that what is beauty and what is the truth. So this is my realization from this particular yesterday's class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much for an explanation. It's a very good summary of Science of Self-Realization chapter there. Very nice. Krishna Prabhu, you covered the point very nicely. All the best.
Yes. So
It was very
I
indeed.
just, just only
One of my
repeated.
friends,
Sorry.
one
Only
of my
repeated.
friends was actually
Okay, good.
he. Oh, sorry, Shridhar Prabhu, you continue. I'll share it later.
It's okay. Sorry. I think we're talking at the same time. Sorry about that. No, what I said is I just repeated what Srila Prabhupada and Amrish was realization. There was nothing, we just repeat the same thing, but when the new people listen, they find it very revolutionary concepts. So that is the power of, actually Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada's knowledge, what they have passed on to us.
Yes, that's perfect. Prabhupada's knowledge we study and we speak. Remove the intermediary me, I'm not interested. Prabhupada is best. You're perfect. You're on the right track. Very nice. Yes, Prabhu, what you're saying?
Yeah, actually, from that class, one of my friends here, we used to work together. So he was so impressed, actually, not only the yesterday's class, but like he's attending almost, I think, for more than a month. And now he's so, he doesn't miss that particularly. I don't have to remind him. Rather, he reminds me, Prabhuji, what time is today's class? And especially, and he has also asked, rather, his wife was listening, but she said, she also wants to join it. I said, no, you don't need to ask me. Straight away, she can join it. So she sent me the detail and I forwarded to Shital Prabhu, and she's going to join as well. And he was so impressed, like, in yesterday's thing also, he said, it's small thing we can see, but, we don't understand. But like, by repeating or by listening to from devotees, he really realized, and he was very, very impressed. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Sridhar Prabhu. Thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for engaging us.
No, Prabhuji, I was just all glories, to our Hare Krishna weekend, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev.
Yes, that's it. Perfect. Perfect. Very nice. All the best. Okay, who would like to take the lead now? Hare Krishna. So I can see all our young Matajis here. Sonu Mataji, nice to see you. Let me go. Study today, our Diganshi Mataji's mother is also coming and going. She's traveling. So we'll be missing her realizations. Yes, and Priti, how's it going? How are you feeling? It's all right. You're enjoying the programs?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes.
Yes, good to hear. Nice to see you. We've got this and just go through.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. I would like to share my realization on a message that you had sent on the intermediate group.
Okay, please. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So I'll just read out the message first. At the present moment, all of human society is engaged in the business of chewing the tube. Punha punas charvita charvananam. People are prepared to undergo mrityu samsar, Vartamanu, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9.3, taking birth in one form, dying, accepting another form, and dying again. To stop this repetition of birth and death, Krishna Katha or Krishna consciousness is absolutely necessary. But unless one hears Krishna Katha from a realized soul like Sukdev Goswami, one cannot relish the nectar of Krishna Katha, which puts an end to all material fatigue, and enjoy the blissful life of transcendental existence. In relation to the Krishna consciousness movement, we actually see that those who have tasted the nectar of Krishna Katha lose all material desires, whereas those who cannot understand Krishna or Krishna Katha regard the Krishna conscious life as brainwashing and mind control. While the devotees enjoy spiritual bliss, the non-devotees are surprised that the devotees have forgotten material hankerings. Srila Prabhupada in Srimad Bhāgavatam. As I was reading all the messages on the intermediate group and the beginner group. I was looking for a message on which I could I could find a realization. I was doing it yesterday only, and as always, I was thinking. As I started doing it, I did not have any idea about what my realization would be. But like this happens all the time. All the time I want to be reading the messages continuously and throughout the week and think of a realization long before the reminder message has come. But always it never happens that way. Always one day before only I am again reading the messages. Some messages have not read. So the messages I'm reading again, and I'm trying to think, okay, this thing, this is nice, this is nice. And I think so I don't know, I have not thought about anything. So this will probably take up a lot of time to think of a realization. But all the time, always another thing happens. It is that as I start reading the messages, then slowly I read all the mellows, and I think by 3 or 4 messages, I start the points start forming in my head. Okay, this I can say in the realization. Okay, this thing had happened to me then, so I think maybe I can put this. And very soon, I think within an half an hour or 45 minutes, I decide on a message. Okay, this is the message I'm going to be writing my realization on. And this happens all the time. And once I decide on a message and I actually start writing it, okay, so this is how I'll start it. How should I start it? So suddenly all these ideas and thoughts and experiences, okay, this thing I can put forth. And even like as I write realization, sometimes I actually have realizations. Okay, this thing I don't understand before, but right now I'm thinking about this because I have to say it in the class. And so that is why I'm actually understanding this thing better. And especially the past last time also, and even this time, I feel like if I'm not practicing, like especially this time, I thought I would not be able to find a realization. I think last realization class I had missed, I was not able to attend. And so it was that time ago, realization theory. So even now, even while speaking, I was feeling kind of hesitant to speak. And I thought even while I was writing the realization, I thought, I won't be able to write the realization. Ho hi nahi payega mujhse, I won't be able to speak. And it was especially because I felt I was not very connected to Krishna, especially as I was some time ago. Because for some time, what has happened is that I had been facing, I think for the past month or something, I had been facing 1.5 months. I had been facing some personal emotional upheavals, and after that, I think I kind of acted on those in kind of not in a very good way. I acted on them in a very not in a nice way, in a kind of a worst possible way possible. So that is why I was not in a very good place for some time. But still, because of Krishna's mercy only, I feel I have, and his devotees' mercy, I was able to. It was so easy for me to again think of things I could write in a realization. I was reading them and I was feeling better, and so all of these things happened. So this actually also reminded. I will share a Bhagavad Gita shloka, chapter 6.5. As I was reading this message, this came to my mind when it had written. It goes like this: Uddharet उद्धरेत् आत्मनात्मानं नात्मानं अवसादयेत् आत्मैव हि आत्मनो बन्धुर् आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A man must elevate himself by his own mind, not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. And this was so true because there is a constant battle, I think, especially it happens with everyone. But I felt like with me also, it happens a lot that I always face a very constant battle between my mind and my intelligence. And in fact, even Avinash Prabhu and Amrish Prabhu, I'm actually very, a few questions of mine. Even if someone else asks, then Avinash Prabhu is like, ये तो सौम्य का question है. Whenever someone is like, I want to do this, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I not do this? So this thing, it was before also. And even now, it is a constant battle between the mind and intelligence. And if you actually think about it, then the thing is that for our intelligence, it needs to have a lot of backing up to convince the mind that what it is thinking is wrong. Like we have to do our daily sadhana, we have to do 16 rounds, we need to have association, we need to read scriptures on a daily basis. And only if we are doing all these things, we are able to convince our mind that nahi, what you are doing, it is not right. You should not be. We don't have to do this. But for our mind to convince us, it is very easy for the mind to convince us because the mind does not have any kind of logical backing towards what it is saying. It is very enticing to us. It is just like, "Arey man kar raha hai, kar lete hai." And that is why it is very easy for the mind to entice us without any kind of logical backing. But for the intelligence, you need to have a lot of thought process going towards it. So this actually, this I will share another few verses of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2.60. यततो हि अपि कौन्तेय पुरुषस्य विपश्चिताः इन्द्रियाणि प्रमाथीनि हरन्ति प्रसभं मनः. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjun, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. So this chapter 2, verse 61. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha vasehi yasyendriyani tasya pragya pratishtita. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who restrains his senses and fixes his consciousness upon me is known as a man of steady intelligence. So where Krishna tells us that how we can actually focus our mind, how we can actually control our senses. And again in chapter 7, verse 17, he says, Daivi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam taranti te. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So over here, it is said, Krishna tells us himself that the only way that we can conquer these things is by complete surrenderance to Krishna. And I thought that what is it that could actually make me capable of this complete surrenderance to Krishna? Because I thought that for me, sometimes I can have that complete surrenderance, but sometimes I completely forget about it. I forget about Krishna. I'm not thinking about him. And this is very dynamic. It happens with me. And I thought that what is it that is even making me capable to be surrendered unto him for whatever time that I am. And especially, like, I would actually like to share an incident. What happened in this duration was that like, for some time, I was not practicing my sadhana. I had stopped doing, I was doing my rounds, very few rounds. I would do 4, 5. Sometimes I won't do my rounds. And for some time in, I think, between 7, 8 days, I was not doing any rounds. I was doing maybe 3 rounds some day, 2 one day. So it is just but still what happened was that I was actually, one of these days, I was actually driving. I was driving a scooty and my friend was sitting behind me. And so we were just driving. And while I was driving, suddenly what happened was that we were on the highway. And I think it was at night. It was some 8:30 at night. And we were driving and suddenly the scooty started jerking. And I felt कि petrol खत्म हो गया. I told my friend कि petrol खत्म हो गया. I think scooty jerk कर रही जल्दी से. The location was set for our home. So I said location change करके petrol pump का location डाल दे. And then she was like कि अच्छा ठीक है doing it. And the scooty started jerking a lot. And I was like जल्दी do it fast because I think I don't know how longer this scooty is going to last. I think petrol खत्म हो रहा है. And then she was like हाँ I'm changing the location. And then she changed the location. And she said, बस 2 मिनट में पेट्रोल पंप आ रहा है. And I was like, अच्छा ठीक है. And I was just driving and I thought कि oh my God Krishna, बस पेट्रोल पंप तक पहुंच जाए. Because फिर वो लेके जाना पड़ेगा and that would be hectic. I was just thinking, ठीक है, let me just go. And I was driving the scooty and she was behind me. And then, like, I reached the petrol pump, and I was still driving. The scooty was still on. There was a slope towards the petrol pump. I put the scooty over the slope, and then I was just the place where they put the petrol. I was just besides it, and then the scooty stopped. And then I opened the tank, and I saw that it was completely dry. There was not even a drop of petrol. And I stopped just besides the petrol pump. And that time my friend says, यार मैं भगवान पे भरोसा रखती हूँ सौम्य, तू जो भी चीजें करती है ना, अब मुझे समझ में आ रहा है सब सही है. I am like, अरे मैं तो बोलती थी ना. And then उसके बाद I was very shocked at that point, because I just felt like I am not doing anything for Krishna right now. I am not even remembering him. And still because I could not think of any other reason why this has happened. As it is coincidences, I know coincidences don't happen. And then this was just too much. And then I actually started thinking, what had been happening the last 2 days. Like, sometime, maybe twice, the last previous days, we had almost near accidents when my friend was driving, and we were just saved. And that time I didn't think anything. But then it was like, I'm not thinking anything. So Krishna is telling me, you are thinking I am not there, I'm not doing anything. But see, here, I've done this. So stop doubting on me. So this thing happened, and I was like, what is it? Why is Krishna being so merciful to me? Why is he still reciprocating with me? He's not even reciprocating, because reciprocation works two ways, and I am not doing anything. And I had heard, like, I'd read somewhere, or maybe someone had told me that you take one step towards Krishna, Krishna takes 10 steps towards you. And I actually experienced it, that I am not doing anything, but still Krishna is doing so much for me. And other than that, I just felt, what is the reason that Krishna is still doing so much for me? And I just could not think of any reason, because that is the lowest point of my life. And still Krishna was doing so much for me. And I thought that the only possible reason for this, it could be that I am like, all the devotees in the weekend group, they are merciful towards me, and they are showing me mercy. And they are praying to Krishna for me. And that is the only possible reason why Krishna would still be showing me mercy, because the devotees are praying for me. And I mean, even at that time, all of the devotees, they were for me: Parth Prabhu, Avinash Prabhu, Saraswati Devi Dasi Mataji, even Pradhan Gopika Mataji, Pradhan Gopika Devi Dasi Mataji, she talked to me. And they were there for me, even if I was not being so much willing to talk, I was uncomfortable to talk, but all of you were there for me. And it was like an entire family. And I was not even talking to my own family as much at that time, but they did not even maybe know about the things, but these devotees, they knew. And even the devotees that I'm not talking to on a daily basis, I felt like even they are praying for me, and even they are showing me mercy, and that is why this is happening. And so I think that is when I experienced devotees. I mean, I have been experiencing, but again, a realization about the causeless mercy of devotees. So that is my realization. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai. All the devotees ki Jai. Very nice. Avinash Krishna Prabhu, Saraswati Mataji, Pradhan Gopika Mataji. Look, this is your hard work, you know. Very nice, Mother Swami. I have realized it. You always find this Krishna reciprocates. Even in the past also, similarly, they have mentioned about it, you know. So you got used to Krishna supporting you so much. It is very nice. Most of us don't even realize Krishna supporting us. So you're realizing it through devotees. As long as we are under shelter of devotees, that is the best shelter. All very, very experienced bhaktas who are very experienced in devotional service, their conclusion is this only, that it is better that we keep and remain in the shelter of devotees. They have nothing to gain from us except our own devotional service. That's it. No charge, no nothing. So very nice. It's good to be realizing this. And it's very wonderful. All you wonderful young Matajis and Prabhus, you're very, very powerful. And you do not know what dreams we have for all of you. You do not know. You will know. I hope Divanshi Mother is joined us. So she's on and off. She's here. Yeah. So you will realize it. When it will happen, you realize these words of your tutors, of myself, your servant. We have big plans for all of you. You have big services to be done for Krishna and the whole Sampradaya. So very nice, very happy for your realization. Hare Krishna. Very nice. Okay, Hare Krishna, who would like to be? I can see after a long time, this another young Mataji has joined. I keep forgetting her first name. Shaurya Bhale is the name which is represented here. I keep remembering her with that one. Rupali Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
बरं वाटलं तुम्हाला पाहून ना
Thank
तुम्हाला
you,
बघून
Prabhuji. Actually, last two weekends I was not there in my station. I was traveling, so I could not able to join last two sessions. But thank you, Prabhuji. And I also would like to share my realization.
Can you switch on your camera? Can you switch on your camera?
Just give me a
If
1 second.
not, yeah.
Give me 1 second. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Please continue. Please continue.
Prabhuji, I want to share my realization that whenever we listen these sessions, we have to implement the teaching of Krishna in our own life. I mean, whatever we are, learning from these sessions. So, in yesterday's sessions, I have learned about the relative truth and absolute truth, which is conducted by Shital Prabhuji. So I want to share my realization from that session. Sometimes we thought about that what we see, that is only truth, but we don't compare the others' truth. I mean, we don't believe on what other people are saying that, but this depend on person, like what their view of the particular thing. So yesterday when we have closed the eyes to just check. Yesterday we have closed eyes and we have checked the others. I mean, what everyone saw after closing their eyes. So I realized that I have seen something, but the other person has seen something. Okay. So previously I always think that what I'm saying, that is truth, because I believe that I'm saying truth and that is correct and that is only truth. But I don't believe on others. Sometimes they were also saying truth, but I don't believe on them. So because I was thinking that I'm correct and the other person is not. But in yesterday's session, I realized that yes, there are different views from person to person, and it's we have to understand what they're saying as well. So sometimes what I did, I mean, I take it personally that yes, that person is saying different from my view. So that part is clear now for me. So henceforward, when I am saying anything about my view or my what I'm seeing that time, so I'll think that for that person, it would be different. So, Shital Prabhuji, am I correct this here?
Yes, Mataji, yeah, you are correct. Actually, it's a relative truth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's relative truth. So this is my realization, and I will be henceforward I'll implement this in my future life. It will be helpful for my career as well as the personal life as well. So this is my truth, Prabhuji.
Very nice. Very
Realization.
nice. Wonderful. Wonderful. Changing people's lives is very, very important. Navata Mataji Shri Prabhu ki jai. Navina Devi ki jai also. She's also contributing. Very nice. Oh, we've got Suchi Mother also there joining us now. Very nice. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes, yes. Please continue. Please continue.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So basically, today also I am not I am not well articulated, but still I'll going to try my best to give my realization based on my, of course, on my practical life, which I am daily on a daily basis I am facing. So the thing is, ki recently I visited Pune, and it was my first for a long period of time I was traveling for like single-handedly, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Pune, and I'm exploring the Pune to myself, and let's see what happens. And I was like, yeah, I have faith on Krishna, and things will going to work very brilliantly, wonderfully, blissfully. So initially when I visited Pune, it was a blissful journey. I visited Pune with my friend, and I stayed with my friend's family, and they also was very much supportive to me. They were like preparing without onion and garlic food for me also, and I was very, very overwhelmed with their support. And it was like I'm actually having Krishna's mercy, and yeah, I'm so like I was overwhelmed with the joy and bliss. Then initially when things happened correctly, you are like very happy and sound. Then the next day I visited my friend's family, and that happened so that they didn't made the food without onion and garlic. And then there was a choice, like there is some buddy who had prepared very nice food for you with love, and then you have two choices: either accept the onion and garlic food with somebody who has made it with love, or either choose the disciplines or the commitments you have made for your life. So this was a small incident that stuck to my head and made me realize that no, if things happen softly and blissfully, then there is something which is known as test, which will going to enter in your life, when you will have to agree that there is two choices: either commitment, or either to choose between what my free will allows me to do. This is a small example, but it was very like thought provoking. Then of course um, I chose that I had a bun and a muska pav I had. Like I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Then again, the next day I visited a few colleges, and it was some academic work. I visited few colleges, and I like it was like I was out since 7:30 in the morning, and I just we had a lunch at 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and it was like, and then also I find the place having full onion garlic, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so hungry now, what to do now? This is not done. And certainly then also there was only one choice for me, that to have dosa or either break the rules and eat onion and garlic. So I had the dosa, and then I was like, each time when I was visiting and having this small incident, it made me realize that whatever or however your faith would be, I was not having complete surrenderance for the first, and second thing, test will going to arrive at any point of your life. So I would have choices each time, and I have to choose between left or right anytime. And but in that particular choice, you certainly after a particular amount of time, you just have one thing, like I am like weapons off, I cannot do anything, like I really want support Krishna. In this 5 to or 6 days or 1 week journey, I have realized that first thing, that I don't have complete faith, and second thing what I realize is I have to develop this complete surrenderance um, inside me or whatever. I have to develop this, because you will be put into those kind of tests in your life where you have to realize that either I would choose between A or B. I would be in a pickle, I would be certainly in mess. So there is like A और B में से क्या अच्छा है वो तो बात की बात हो जाती है, but A और B में से क्या choose करे, this is the one fundamental question that arrives. So when I explored things on with myself, my own self, I realized that things are really hard, and it's not every time you will going to get whatever you want or whatever your heart desires. The only way that I could be happy is through surrenderance. Like, and the underlying theme of my realization is I want to develop this surrenderance, because if I will not, then certainly I would be unhappy, and if I develop, then certainly that choice and that particular goal will be perfect for me, because it will be developed, or it would be created by the most intelligent planner. So I cannot plan things on my own in my life. If this was very trivial and very basic things, but in life things will going to go haywire. I have realized this in my life, things goes haywire, and then I have only nothing remains but to surrender. And that surrenderance is so like and then I realized that why on the 9th chapter Krishna said that sarva dharmani parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tuam sarva papebhyo mokshasyami ma shucha. Why it was at the end? Because you have so many choices in life, you have so many things. Sorry, it was in the 9th chapter. So it was so many choices in life, but then you have to, and whatever you are going to choose, it will be by your own free will. Then certainly the things goes again jumbled. Then, and each time it was like, I don't know what to do. I want help. I don't know where to go or what to choose. So
We can see you. Continue. Please continue.
am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So basically, this was the whole sort of realization that I have come across, that I have to develop the complete surrenderance, complete faith. However, and whatever things will going to happen in my life, surrenderance is must.
Very nice. Hare Krishna. We learned so much from you youngsters, Wonderful. Wonderful. Avinash, aap kya khilate ho unko? Mataji, Saraswati Mataji, what do you make them eat in the programs? Maharaj would say this, these people should be punished. What are they making these people in the nice devotees? So nice to hear. Very, very nice.
We are just repeating, Guru, what you have taught us.
No, that's wonderful. Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Very nice. It's very wonderful. Hare Krishna. Yes. Who would like to go next? Please feel free.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Please. Is it Preeti?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. Please continue.
So, this is my first realization, and it contains more of personal experiences. So, though I'm a new devotee, but I've learned many new things and have experienced many positive changes in this little time. Earlier, I used to be an overthinker, a procrastinator, a person who gets swayed away in every situation or circumstances of life. And though I tried many things, I tried to be a Buddhist, I tried yoga, I tried meditation. They helped me, I would say, but only to a limited extent. So one fine day I was talking to my friend Divyanshi, and we were discussing on how to be consistent towards our academic goals and how to be more focused on studies. So I suddenly asked her that, Divyanshi, what I think is that food and that is stomach and mind, they both are interconnected. So she said, how can you say that? So I said, I have experienced that whenever I eat light or healthy food, I can study more harder, and I feel more being more focused on my studies. So I just asked her that, can you tell me what's the difference between in this tamasic bhojan and sattvic bhojan, because I've heard these types of words from you. So she suddenly say, Preeti, now this is the time that I'm going to introduce you to an organization, and I feel this is the right time that you get into this. So I said, what are you talking about? I don't know. Then she told me that I am a part of this weekend group, and she told me everything about this organization. She introduced me to Avinash Prabhu. We conducted a three-way call, including me, Divyanshi, and Prabhuji. So I would say Avinash Prabhu is a very realized soul. He guided me so well. I mean, he gets to know that if I'm not connecting with this group very frequently, then he calls me up, Divyanshi, I want to talk to Preeti. So I was so impressed by this, that how can he gets to know what is happening in my life. So and then he guided me very well, I would say, and slowly and gradually I started experiencing new or positive changes in my life. I would like to mention some over here, like uh, like I used to listen to rock music or party music a lot. So that has been replaced by Krishna Kirtans now, and I love those Kirtans. I used to spend a lot, I won't say spend, I used to waste a lot of time on scrolling down these TikTok videos and online platforms. Now, this activity has been taken over by reading the thoughts which are posted in the group, and reading signs of self realization. So I can feel this synergy in my life, lot of positive energy. I'm waking up early in the morning with so much of energy, like tell me what to do now. Earlier I used to wake up very I used to feel very lazy. Oh god, again same routine, I have to study, I have to go to work. But now same activities are same, daily routine are same, but for 2 3 more things have been added, like japa session and kirtans, and reading these posts, talking to Avinash Prabhuji, Divyanshi on spiritual topics. So I'm experiencing a very, very good time in my life, and I just hope this never comes to an end. And I want to mention it over here that I was suffering so much from inside. Like panic attacks were very common, and anxiety. It used to follow me like my shadow. So now I can feel that they have become very uncommon, and I can feel that power in myself, that yes, dealing with them has become now easy. So in the end, I would like, yes, I want to mention post here, that it was posted by, I think, Avinash Prabhuji, that it goes like this. mm, I wrote it somewhere. Yes, one, he who moves not forward goes backward. Just a simple line, but with so much of deep meaning. It's so meaningful. I used to think if we are not doing anything, we are not moving forward, so okay, we are at the same level. But no, by reading this, I pondered upon it and got to know that no, Preeti, actually it is in relative sense. If we are not moving forward, that means we are actually lagging behind. We are going forward, backward. So these types of small um, thoughts, they are so helpful. Whenever I used to feel like, oh God, now I don't want to study more, so I used to open WhatsApp and read this, and this used to give me a lot of sense that no, Preeti, start again. You have to do it, because if you won't move forward, you are actually going backward. So just this is my realization. In the end, I would like to say that I'm just enjoying whatever is happening at this point of time in my life. And though questions still arise in my mind, but now somewhere in my heart I have that faith that soon or later I will get the answer of these questions. And yes, I am on the right track now. So Hare Krishna, everyone. This is was my realization.
Very nice. Hare Krishna. Wonderful. You are very lucky, Preeti. You're very lucky to have a good friend like Divyanshi.
Yes, 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 Prabhuji.
And both of you are very lucky to have Saraswati Mataji, Avinash Prabhu, and Pradhan Gopika Mataji as your tutors. It is so very nice to hear. Very nice. This initial. So when you find something very good, so that's very excited about it, and that's what it is happening with you. And it is all up to you how far you want to take it, And nobody wants anything from you, just that you are happy and chant Hare Krishna. That's basically it. Very nice, very nice. All the best. All the best to you. Hare Krishna. Who would like to be the next? Please continue. And also, as devotees prepare to do their realization, it's a very good thing what Avinash is doing, looking at the seriousness of Divyanshi mother, so that you keep putting you two together. So you know her, she's your friend. You can trust her in her realizations. And she trusts what Avinash Saraswati Mataji has taught you. So I think this is a very, very good step what he has done. And he's always there, He and his wife are always there to make sure if you have anything to come. It's very good. We already started to empower followers. I remember many organizations fail just because they can't empower their subordinates. This is very nice. We are in the business of creating leaders, not followers. So all your followers will also become leaders. I mean, some of them cannot become leader. That's all right. They can support the other leaders. But our focus is this: everyone praise, support, become leaders. See, already done. Yes, who would like to go next? Please feel free.
Hare Krishna, Babaji. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, Divyanshi, you are whispering, but we can hear you. You didn't. I thought you couldn't speak. You said you were in a situation where.
Yes.
But knowing you will not. Very nice. Please continue.
Yes.
Please continue. Hare Krishna.
So I actually have not prepared like a proper structured realization for this class, because I've had a very difficult past months due to a lot of health issues. That I'm generally like I have a good immunity. Like I've never had COVID even. Like so I really boast about this thing with my family that 2 years have gone by, I still don't have COVID. But I don't know how it's in the past 1 month I was so incredibly sick that it has given me a whole new perspective on this line that we keep repeating, that this body is the source of miseries. Like this body is so much discomfort and so much pain. And we take our good health for granted, right? Like we take it so much for granted that we're good right now, especially when you're young and when you still have the ability to move around. But even like right now, whenever we get sick, it's usually for 2-3 days, so it doesn't really affect all that much. But I was sick for like at least 20 days, 25 days in the past 1 month alone. And it felt so so helpless that I wanted to do things, but I couldn't. I wasn't able to do any of those things. Luckily, there was not enough workload on my job front, so that was fine. But even with simply doing my devotional service, I was struggling so much because of like I had so much weakness, and I was thinking, around those points that it's like we think right now, like when I was reading some time ago, I was reading Transcendental Teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, where he talks about that, human life is so easy to be wasted, that you can waste your childhood years for just, yapping away, and then your youth comes, so you're really surcharged with job and things like that. And I would always think that, you can still somehow manage things side by side, even in your old age and things like that. And because right now we have good health, so it's very difficult for us to imagine a point in time where we wouldn't have good health, where we wouldn't be able to move around, right? And I was so weak that I would go down the stairs to get myself a glass of water, and I would immediately feel like I need to sleep for 2 hours now. And I live with my grandmother right now, and she's also really old. And so she feels the same thing, that, she goes to the washroom once or goes to get some water, and immediately she feels like बहुत काम हो गया, like she starts panting, and her breath she becomes breathless. And I would think that this is so difficult, like it's so difficult to be old, but I wouldn't be able to relate with that enough, and I would think, I'm thinking right now that health is such a it's such a priceless thing that we take for granted, and we don't realize how much we need good health to be able to do a devotional service, to sit and chant, and to be able to read with concentration. it is so much effort, mental effort and physical effort, that you need to have good health for that. And then when I would be lying in my bed, not being able to do anything, I would think that, Prabhupada, when he was 62, when he was 75, he was doing so many things. And even Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj, he would wake up every day 4 a.m. for Manga Aarti. And I was like, I'm not even, if I take a bath today, I would feel that I've done such a, like great task today, because it is so, I was so feeling so much weak. And, I was thinking that it's really so easy for us to postpone the things to a later time when we're, like, because we always take this for granted that, oh, health we'll always have this energy. But it's really not like that. And even, it's people around me, like there are a lot of people around me who tell me things like that there is, and that their left knee does not work properly, and there is no medical reason for it. Like there is no identified cause for it. Like like I know so many people who have such serious medical issues that there is just no reason for that. Medical science can't explain it. It is the way it is. And I would always think that at any given point, anything can go wrong with, our lives, and we can't rely on medical science for it, because they can just say that, yeah, we can't identify the cause for it. And it's like we just, like medical science for us, we feel like, oh, it's such a sturdy thing that it's, fully established that it can cure anything. But there are so many things that they just can't identify the cause of, they can't treat. And it's that, for the point that I'm trying to make is that there are 100 million different things that can go wrong with your life at any given point, with your health at any given point, that can incapacitate you to do so many things. And yet we just always assume that things are going to be fine. And we can always, take bhakti up seriously. And at a later point that, oh, I'll, like, if I'm not able to chant my rounds completely today, I'll do it tomorrow, or things like that. And I remember Ambrish Prabhu saying this, that, no matter what happens, don't go to sleep before you complete your rounds. Just like if it was something important, if it was something else important, I remember Krishnadas Prabhu saying as well that, no matter what happens, don't go to sleep before you try to complete your rounds. And I would think that, and Ambrish Prabhu mentioned that if you had a flight, if you had something important, you would stay up no matter what happened. So why do we take this for granted that, don't complete your rounds, and or I'll complete it tomorrow, or I'll not read as many things today. And so yeah, I was this entire week, I was just, fixating on that right now I'm young, so I can't imagine a time where I wouldn't be able to properly do the things that I want to do. Right now I'm very energetic, but there will come a time where I won't be. And I don't even know if there will come a time like that at all. So like there are n number of things that could go wrong. And so what I was basically thinking about, that I really need to be incredibly serious in this, otherwise it's just a missed chance. And another thing that I would like to mention is when Soumya Mataji was giving the realization, I was in and out the entire time, but I heard this part where she said that, it's the mercy of the devotees that, everything keeps going well. And I would always think that, like if I'm attending the Saturday class, or if I'm anywhere, then immediately if something is wrong with me, Avinash Prabhu and Saraswati Mataji, immediately they know that she's not well, her health is not well, something is there, and they'll text me personally that, are you okay? Are you feeling well? And I remember I had a 1 hour long call with Saraswati Mataji where she was telling me that this is what you should eat to improve your health, because I have a very low appetite. That's why I've had a lot of health issues over the years as well. So I remember that she was, guiding me like a mother, like, yeah, this is what you should eat, this is what you should add to your diet. And every time Avinash was also extremely empathetic about my health. Every time he keeps asking me that, you're everywhere you are, how will you like get rest? And you need to take some time off and things like that. And he would always be so considerate. And I feel so, because even some of your closest friends fail to do that for you. Like when they feel that something is bad with you or something like that, they might not get the time. But I always feel that Saraswati Mataji and Avinash Prabhu always have the time to check up on me, that if you're doing well or not, are you okay? And that's something so incredibly priceless to me. And we were on a call with Preeti on Friday, and Avinash Prabhu said something. Avinash Prabhu said that, that he's talked to me so much, he's interacted with me so much that he doesn't even realize that he's never met me. And that's actually the first time it hit me that I've never met Avinash Prabhu in person. I was like, yeah, I've never met him in person. And I was like, this is so incredible that you can feel this way about somebody. So yeah, it has been a really interesting journey this past month. I've not fully recovered even now, but yeah, it's yeah, hopefully it gets better. Somehow or the other around these classes, I'm able to stand up and show my face. Wow. So, yeah, everything is good. Another thing that I just wanted to add to this is that, you know, when you're feeling sick, a lot of the times you just have to push yourself and do it. Like I remember this particular day where I was feeling incredibly not well and my room was completely untidy because I did not have the energy to arrange things around. I did not feel like doing anything. But I just somehow I got up and I was like, first of all, I need to clean my room. Because that's first thing that comes to my head, because Maharaj prayer is always somehow running in the background. So I'm like, first of all, I'll get up and I'll clean my room. So with a lot of labor, I cleaned my room up and I was like, that's all, that's it. And then my study table, I cleared my study table and I opened Signs of Self-Realization and I started reading it, and immediately I could feel so much better. And I was like, I was not able to give myself that push 100% of the time. But every time that I was able to give myself that push that you need to get up and you need to do it, you need to get over it at times, it was so much better. And that's something that I probably need to that's something that I did not do enough times this particular instance. But this is something that I would like to carry forward, and I would also like to propagate that sometimes you just need to push yourself and immediately you will feel better when you start reading and when you start chanting. So yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to say. I'm so sorry it was all over the place, but I hope it made sense. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it made very much sense. Very nice. Your health is all right now?
I still have like cough and cold and allergies, but
is it because of the heat? So is it because of the heat or something?
I think it's because of the heat and because of exertion in general as well.
Yeah. That's right. Good. You're very lucky to have Saraswati Mataji and Avinash Prabhu, devotees like them, who are like your parents' figure. You got two sets of parents already, taking care of you. So very nice. Always remember, it's always very difficult to think about others. And when somebody does, you don't want to miss them, miss their association. So it's all glories to their service that you are very nicely progressing. It's very nice. Very nice. All the best to you. And now I was told that you are taking care of the devotees, also your friend, too. I think that's very nice what Avinash Prabhu has done. It's very nice. I would have done the same thing. And I was very, very happy when he said this. I said, yes, that's it. This is perfect. He can guide you. You should not go into your head also. I'm guiding you. You're also a student. You're student helping student. And we also students only. So we also students supporting students. It's not that we have become big. That is not me. Good. All the best. All the best.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I would like to tell Divyanshi that we are just passing on whatever love and care and guidance we received from Purna Pragya Mataji and Amrish Prabhuji. All the time they supported us so much that we cannot actually, I cannot give back that love and that care. So it's all Mataji and Prabhuji's mercy. So we are doing very little part of that. So that's how our parampara goes.
Thank you, Mother. It's not that we are also learning as we go, but that is what we received from Guru Maharaj. We try to do, and you are keeping it forward from Guru Maharaj, not us. It's from Maharaj and Prabhupada. So you'll get full benefit from Guru Maharaj and Prabhupada for this. We are just here and there doing our best with limited capacity. But it's very nice. This is what we remember. The youngsters will remember these things, as and when they grow old. Then, but yeah, about growing old, yes, that was a point. I said, what was the point which I wanted to say? Next point was about growing old. This was Maharaj's very favorite punchline. Always Maharaj would say this, that Prabhupada also would say this. I remember Prabhupada saying in 65, when Prabhupada reached USA, he said that you guys are young people, 15, 16-year-old people, 17, 20, 18, 19 years old. He said, you do not know what is old age is. But old age is coming. Don't worry. And as you very correctly said, Mother, that old age coming is very fortunate to be old. Most of the karmis who do not have any spiritual knowledge, who have no aim in life except to make money, they feel very frustrated because they think we cannot enjoy old age. But those who are devotees, they say, Krishna is so kind. He's giving me some more, like in cricket, 50-over match is over, 50 overs. Now he's giving me more, 60 overs, 70 overs to make sure that I'm getting enough runs that I can cross over. So, as I said the other day, we are happy to die now, young. No problem. Very happy. But if we grow old, we are very, very happy. No problem. That also is perfect. It's an opportunity. And yes, Maharaj did say that it's very hard, Ambarish. When temple construction was going on, he said, I can see this is. I was telling Maharaj some ideas. Now we can do this and do that. Like a rascal, He said, yes, I know. We can do these things, So what to do? Mara pag chalta nathi. Maharaj said, my legs are not moving as much. My body is all right. My legs are not moving. And he said some devotees, when they come, they'll move around, they'll do things. But I can see where things are to be done. It's not happening. So what to do? But even at that stage, Maharaj's thinking was how to serve Krishna. And then Maharaj was telling me, and all these words, all these feelings that I felt when Maharaj said this, I was at the feet of Maharaj. I was alone with Maharaj. And Maharaj said this. I said, I want to hold this in my heart. Somehow I can reproduce to the next generation or other devotees. And I can see that you've got this from Avinash Saraswati Mataji. The same mood of Maharaj, that feeling that I felt, you're feeling. And I'm sure you'll pass it on. Others who are hearing this will also pass it on to the next generation. This is how our parampara continues. As Saraswati Mataji very correctly said. If we keep it with ourselves, parampara stops. Selfishness. But devotees are never selfish. Devotees always give, and they say, I'm not doing anything, although they do everything. So we know how much hard work they do in cultivating all of you. And just for their, not to make them embarrassed, we keep quiet in accepting their praise for us. But this is a fact. Credit goes to where it belongs. This is how we are trained. Wonderful. I'm very, very happy. We wish you feel good very soon. I felt the same in the last 1 month. I was actually going to call you. But something has gone wrong. But I did not have, so that it will come. It manifested. Avinash Prabhu told me about this. It's all good. Very, very nice. All the best to you. Hare Krishna. Okay, who would like to be the next one? So more and more nectar coming,
I'll not take long, Prabhu. I'll just quickly. So all those young devotees who are sharing their realizations, and my wife has already said that actually we are doing what we have been, and you will not believe that how Amrish Prabhu has personally look after us. Anyway, so whatever is happening between us, amongst us, the devotees whom I'm actually talking directly, Amrish Prabhu knows everything. So this I want to tell you that, and I do it because I'm a transparent medium. If I keep it myself, then I'm selfish, as he says. So my job is to just pass on. If I keep, and I always take guidance. Sometimes I do whimsical things, but I always go back. Hopefully it helps. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Our whole structure is on our this thing. We don't force anything. Voluntarily you come and say, this is to your credit. And what do you say we hear? I think it's very, very nice. We can see how nicely you're developing a congregation. And we can see that congregation will also develop their congregation. So in our lifetime, we can see these things before our eyes are closed forever. And we open our transcendental eyes. You can see the chakshu, divya chakshu even now in this life. So it's very nice. So Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Hare Krishna. Please, let the nectar flow. Who want to speak now?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for organizing this nice program. And thank you all the devotees for your nice, very, very nice realization. I would like to share my realization. It's about Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 14. Matra sparashestu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhada agamapayo namo nityas tam stitikshva bharata. It's a translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sense perception, ocean of Bharat, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. I'm sharing this verse because in my realization, because last couple of weeks we were going, me and my family were going through some bad situation, some sad time, and we were in a little bit of stress, and then I was like overthinking about it, what's going on and all, little bit about my health and all. So when I was thinking about this one, this verse is my daughter's, Navina's, very favorite verse. She always sings this verse at home whenever she plays around, and that's why I remember this verse actually. So I was thinking about it. Every time she sings this one, I realize like, yeah, there is happiness and there is a sadness, comes and go and all. But whatever we gone through last couple of 2 weeks, last 2 weeks situation, it's like I realized the value, like what exactly Krishna is like telling to us. The material life is full of affect of sadness and happiness, and we have to be tolerate whatever we're going through it. So and then whenever we have this situation, we should accept whatever Krishna's will is there. We should understand the situation and face to it, accept the truth. And then I read long time back from the book of the Kunti Maharani's Realization, the teachings of Kunti. The book name is Teachings of Kunti. And she was praying to, when the war is finished, she was praying to Lord Krishna that don't leave us, because whenever there was a distress in our life, you was there with us. So from this point, like I realized that even if we are in sad time or bad time, there is a Krishna is always with us, and we should realize this, what is going on. And even there is a bad situation, I realize that our chanting is little bit very much focused than they usually I do. And then like I'm bit closer to Krishna, and he's giving me a right knowledge in right time to overcome from all the situations, whatever we're going through. So this verse is really touched my heart, touched to my heart. And then that situation, even like I will be always remember this verse now onwards, that to how we should be, how we should be faced in our life. And there was also, I talked with the Mataji as well, Purna Pragya Mataji as well, and that this difficult time, and Amrish Prabhu as well, and their guidance as well helped me a lot to overcome from this situation, and I would like to thank you to them. And this is my realization for today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. They also burn big Maharathis now, these two husband and wife, Navata Mataji and Sheetal Prabhu. It's very nice, and their daughter Navina. So we wish them all the success. Okay, who would like to give the realizations now? Please continue. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Vishwaji, for giving us this opportunity to speak and to learn about Krishna. Thank you to all the devotees for giving such wonderful and inspirational realizations. I'd just like to share a small realization. So I was reading a conversation that happened between when Prabhupada was visiting Melbourne back in 1975. There were many visitors that came to visit him. So I was just reading this conversation between him and a director of Department of Social Welfare at the time. So Prabhupada instantly, gets straight to the point, and he says, "Look, you need social welfare. The root of all problems is that people are godless. So there's godlessness, which is why you're having so many problems. Things like divorce, crime rate, improper education, children not coming up properly. All this stemming from the root cause, which is godlessness." And from this discussion, there's a few points that I liked and I wanted to share. So the first point that they talk about, like, as divorce rates, and divorce back then was being introduced, I believe, in India, like a law was being passed, but in the Western world, it was already there, and it was being increased. So, Prabhupada explains that that he says this is a very dangerous law to allow divorce. Divorce should not be allowed. Even when there is some disagreement between husband and wife, it should be neglected. According to Chanakya Pandit, he was a great politician. He said that Dampatya Kalahe Shaiva Bhavarambhe Laghu Kriya, that is from Niti Shastra. The husband and wife's quarrel should not be taken very seriously. Ajayudhe Muni Shraddhe. Ajayudhe, just like fight between two goats. They are fighting, and if you say hut, they will go away. Similarly, the fight between husband and wife should not be taken very seriously. Let them fight for some time, they will automatically stop. Yeah, I enjoyed that point. Being married now, and then also having seen my parents fight as a child, but you see that after a while they get over it, and they're like back to normal, everything is fine, and that's how you learn, actually. Yeah, that is a marriage. That is how it's supposed to be. As our culture teaches us, divorce is not such a thing. You discuss and you move on. So yeah, I like that point very much. And Prabhupada continues to say, because of godlessness and improper guidance, there are no ideal men or women in society. So such people are leading the society. So then Prabhupada explaining that why this is such a problem. This is a defect of Western civilization, vox populi, taking opinion of the public. What is the value of this public? Drunkards, smokers, meat eaters, women hunters, they are not first-class men. So what is the use of such third-class, fourth-class men's opinion? We do not advocate such opinion. What Krishna said, that is standard, that's all. Krishna is the supreme and his version is final. No opinion, no democracy. When you go to a physician, doctor for treatment, the physician does not place his prescription for opinion of other patients. Now I'm prescribing this medicine for this gentleman. Now give me your opinion. Does he do that? The all patients, what will they give opinion? The physician is the perfect person. Whatever he has written prescription, that's all right. But here in the Western world, everything is public opinion. So I found that quite interesting. So you may know yesterday was election here in Australia. So new Labour came into power, new prime minister. So I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense that over here there is a law that every Australian citizen must vote. They have to vote. They don't have any other choice. If they don't, they get fined. So it was like, oh, okay, so drunkards, smokers, meat eater, women hunters, these are the people that are choosing the leaders for tomorrow. So they themselves don't have knowledge. So how are they going to choose the right one? The guy who's actually having this conversation with Prabhupada, he says that he's a public servant and the public selects him. So he can't change the society and how they think. But clearly Prabhupada is rejecting this process, which is democracy, saying that what is the value of opinion if the people are all asses? So even Maharaj used to say, what is democracy? It's demon crazy. And I realized this point, yeah, actually, all the demons are selecting one crazy leader to lead them all. So yeah, that's why there's so many problems. So even though we live in this society, we follow the path that Srila Prabhupada have shown us, which is that Krishna is the supreme and his version is final. No room for our opinions. This is a very hard pill to swallow, but eventually when we understand this point, we do become peaceful. So yeah, I realized that. And then just lastly, further down the discussion, they also, I found an interesting point about how tea was introduced in India. So Prabhupada says that Indian society, they did not know how to drink tea even. In our childhood, we have seen that Britishers started tea garden. There was no tea plants before Britishers. The Britishers saw the labor is very cheap and they want to do business. They started. Just like they are doing in Africa, so many gardens, coffee and tea. So they started and the tea was transferred to be sold in America. They were after business. Now, so much tea, who will consume? The government started a tea sets committee. All the tea gardens holders, they would pay government. And road to road, street to street, their business was canvassing, preparing tea, very nice, palatable tea. And they are advertising, if you drink tea, then you will not feel very much hungry and your malaria will go away and so on and so on. And people began to drink tea. Nice cup. I have seen it. Now they have got a taste. Now gradually, now a sweeper also, early in the morning, is waiting in the tea shop to get a cup of tea. Tea was taken in our childhood if somebody is coughing. Sometimes they used to use tea. That was also later on, but it was unknown. Drinking tea, drinking wine, smoking, meat eating, these things were unknown. Prostitution. There was prostitution, not that everyone is prostitute, very strict. So these things should be taken care of. At least a class of men must be ideal for people. Others will see. And the training should go on, just like we are doing. We are inviting people to come to chant with us, to dance with us, take prasadam. And gradually they are becoming the same stuff, addicted to drinking, addicted to prostitution, addicted to meat eating. He is becoming saintly person. This is practical. You can see what was their previous history and what they are now. So yeah, I found this very interesting to learn actually how tea came to India, that it wasn't something native to India. I couldn't tell that was the case looking at how addicted people are to tea nowadays. But you know, if it wasn't for Srila Prabhupada, I would also be one of those addicted people drinking tea every day. So I'm so grateful to Prabhupada for pulling me out of the gutters and showing the right path and how to become first-class citizens by following Krishna consciousness. So Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you. That's my realization.
Wonderful. Hare Krishna. Well, nice to hear, Mother. Very good. Very good. This is what you read. We should all read regularly. How it was before. How it has changed now. And Maharaj would mention these things very much so many times. I think I've shared it with all of you also. About tea. And it's so true. So true. The tea will solve this problem, that problem. You know how Coca-Cola was introduced, when it was introduced first in the world? Anyone knows this? It was introduced as a health drink. It was introduced as a drink which would give you all the electrolytes. You have got electrolyte when you've got, yeah, that's what it was introduced as, Coca-Cola. And that's how it was. And see now, very different. Very different. And tea, that's true. Everybody wants to have tea. Everybody wants to have tea. You get a kick out of it. Very nice. All the best. Hare Krishna. Who would like to go next now? Please feel free.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mother, you're audible. Please.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji. Thank you so much, all the devotees, for your such a practical, wonderful realizations. I would like to share my realization from the verse you shared on the WhatsApp group, Prabhuji. Chapter 9, verse 14. I just would like to read it from here. Satatam kirtyayantamam yatantasya dridhavrata namashvantasya mam bhaktya nitya yukta upashate. So in this whole verse, what I realized that always chanting the glories of Krishna and endeavoring with great determination and bowing down before Supreme Personality, such great souls perpetually worship the Lord with the devotion. The Mahatma cannot be, I just literally would realize from the translation and the purport, and which according to that, the Mahatma cannot be manufactured. But a person who is always engaged in the chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, he has no other business. He is always engaged in the glorification of the Lord and is not an impersonalist. When the question of glorification is there, we should glorify the Supreme Lord, praising his holy names, his eternal form, his transcendental qualities, and his uncommon pastimes, and glorify all these things. That's how we can attach to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should not be attached to the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmajyoti, and we have to be always engaged in different activities of devotional service, hearing, chanting about Supreme Personality and not about other mundane things or activities. This is devotion. Sarvanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smarpanam, and remembering him. We have to develop firm determination to achieve at the ultimate and the association of the Supreme Lord. To achieve that success, we have to engage all activities, mental, bodily, vocal, everything in the service of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, and to try to attain full Krishna consciousness. In devotional service, there are certain activities which are called determined, such as fasting on certain days, like the 11th day of the moon, the Ekadashi, and on the appearance day of the Lord, and appearance and disappearance days of our previous acharyas. All these rule and regulation are offered by the great acharyas. For those who are actually interested in getting admission into the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the transcendental world. We need to strictly observe all these rules and regulations, and therefore we can be sure to achieve the desired result. This devotional service is not only easy, but it can be performed in a happy mood, and one does not need to undergo any severe penances and austerities to perform these to perform these activities. We can live this life in devotional service guided by an expert spiritual master, and in any position, either a householder or a sannyasi or a brahmachari, in any position or anywhere in the world, we should try to perform this devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus can make ourselves eligible to become actually a great soul. So how I realized from this, Prabhuji, that how everybody is sharing their so practical realizations, all the new devotees, that we also used to experience so many things before. When I first came, I started, and then so they are always, and then now in this many years, there are always so many up and downs, and then you realize the importance of the devotional service in your life, that how you come out of the difficult times, and how we come out of this difficult times becomes the test for us, just to test us that how much faith we have in our devotional service. But I realize that it comes with our continuous and consistent faith in Krishna, like our activities, daily activities, and our devotional service towards Krishna. And the purity comes together with the faith comes together with the purity. And like how all the other devotees have, most of the devotees have, realize about their surrender, and how much they are surrendering. So this all, I believe that it comes with this footstep of our acharyas, and then how we are following this. It's a set process that there is no way we can see here and there, and then there is just, these are the strict rules, and these are what we have to do. So yes, I feel really fortunate that with the listening of this new devotees realization, and I realized like our own time, that how we used to realize our practical experience in our realization program in the Namahata. And now I think there is so much happening, so we just don't sometimes we just want to be more philosophical, and but it still makes a big difference after listening so many good realizations, and under the guidance of you, Prabhuji. I really thank you so much for all the devotees, and for you especially, Prabhuji, for this organizing such a great program. So we are getting so much from this. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, that's my realization. Thank you.
Very nice. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for that. Very nice realization. It's very nice. You got all both two children also growing up. Very nicely. They also have the team under them. All the best. Yes, please. Who would like to go next? As devotees join in, just want to mention this, read at this point, because we're joining a bit later on, that it's very satisfying that they have a very clear USP, unique selling proposition. Our unique selling proposition in Krishna consciousness is philosophy. Books are our duties, And that's what we have got. We make your house into a temple, and that's where it is. That's where I thought we should emphasize this, keep emphasizing this point, so that those who join us will have this focus. And we go to temple as well. As I said, I went to the temple. I had my samosa also, my share of samosa. I had also some share distributed in my family. But that's not our devotion, sir. That's not the only thing. There's so many chocolate cakes. Our shop is just chocolate ice cream, chocolate cakes. I don't know whom do I go and fight with. There are so many big people there. They'll probably kill me. Everything, dark chocolate, this chocolate, that chocolate. I said, I'm not going to have any chocolate food. I went far away and have some stars. Not even next door to them, inside the temple, what to do? So you have come to the wrong place, all the youngsters. You must go to other people. They have chocolate also. No restriction for chocolate. No restriction for 7-Up. Only we have got all this demonic situation. If you don't guarantee you'll go back to God. They guarantee you'll go back to God. Anyway, enough of me. Yes, please continue. Please continue.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all very much for your very nice realizations. So my realization is from one of the quotes in our Hare Krishna weekend groups. And I actually tend to find that in all the realization classes, my realization always tends to follow a particular theme of the overarching realization that everyone gives, especially the youth. So this this verse that I'm going to give my realization on is chapter 3, text 6. So I'll just read the verse and the translation. Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimuddhatma mityacharaha sa uchyate. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who restricts the senses and organs of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. So a lot of the devotees today were talking about their navigation through faith, through the situations in their life that everyone's facing very unique issues, and how, you're trying to find Krishna's hand in those issues, and how you're realizing and making sense of the issues, which was very, very inspiring to me to hear. Now, on the flip side here of this verse, Lord Krishna is actually saying, and Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, that there are people who pretend as if they're all realized and they have all the understanding in the world, and actually that is the greatest sin to have. Now, obviously, everyone is not perfect in following, Bhakti Yoga process, and no one will be able to control the mind. And here, Lord Krishna makes a distinction in a person who can restrain their senses and restrain the organs, but who can't restrain the mind. And restraining the mind is, the key issue, as many of the devotees pointed out today. So Prabhupada mentions in the purport that the greatest cheaters, in society are those that pretend, to show, as you get like many spiritual teachers, so-called, that pretend to have knowledge, or may have knowledge but pretend to control the senses, etc. But on the inside, internally and behind closed doors, they do whatever they want, and they abuse their authority, they don't have any care in the world about, controlling their mind or practicing sincerely. And in contrast to that, you have people who are just joining, neophytes, so-called, who are so sincere in trying to control their own minds. And we see in these realizations, all the time. And even, around the world, not just restricted to the weekend programs, but just in general. And it's that's what Srila Prabhupada and the Prabhupada is saying, that Prabhupada is very much focusing on those that are in positions of authority here, to make that point. And we actually see that, in various institutions, various religious institutions around the world, with people who have so-called knowledge, and who have authority, continuously abuse it. Not least, people even in the ISKCON movement, in the very early stages after Srila Prabhupada, departed, there were all these things that were, happening. So even there, we see that there's no clear sincerity in, controlling the mind. And that's what happens when you try and pose as something you're not. And Lord Krishna says that they're a pretender. Prabhupada says that they're a cheater. And that distinction is made, what I've realized is that, for those of us that want to be serious, or those of us that, are preachers, this is so important for us, to be mindful of that, to what extent are we actually internalizing and thinking about controlling our mind while we go through, doing programs, interacting with so many, different devotees, etc. Imparting the philosophy that we have learnt, simply repeating the words of, this disciplic succession. But how much of that are we actually, focusing on? And that's something that I've also, struggled with a lot, and I still struggle with, is that, it's almost like you go through the motions quite a lot of times. But how much of your own sadhana are you really focused on? And, the goal of life is to control the mind. And so, it's a stark reminder that, any position in which you're imparting knowledge, or, you even, so-called teaching what you've learned, you should always have that, understanding in, your heart, that if you're not in your heart sincere, then that is the greatest offense, because you're, you're offending the holy name of the Lord. And that's what Srila Prabhupada is hammering in the purport. I think there was just a point here that I would like to say. Just give me a second. So yeah, even the the position of a guru, Diksha Guru or Siksha Guru, it's not so easy that you can just become a sannyasi and there we go, everything's handed to you on a plate. The actual process of controlling the mind, it's not, even as as a person, as a guru, they're always controlling, or attempting to control the mind. And the nature of the material world and the three modes of material nature is that it's a constant struggle all the time. You've never quite got there. And so yeah, it's a very uphill battle to climb. But what I really appreciate is, after hearing all the devotees, all the realizations, is that everyone is trying, to do exactly that, and to recognize the problem first is the biggest, is half the battle won. So yeah, it's a very inspirational to hear all the wonderful devotees, and to hear all the wonderful youth as well, and their realizations. So yeah, I just thought, like I said, after preparing this realization, I realized that actually it follows the theme all the time. Every realization that I give always tends to follow what the youth are talking about. So yeah, thank you all very much, and Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Prabhu, very nice realizations. Thank you very much. It's good to see that youngsters and devotees are also speaking boldly through the scriptures. We don't criticize them, but the same time, we know what is true. We know because we're studying. How it is. We know the history also. Very nice. Hare Krishna. So who would like to give your realizations?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for your wonderful realizations. I'm just taking in all the nectar from all the wonderful devotees here. It's so nice to hear everyone's realizations. I'm just going to read from Nectar of Instruction verse 4. My video might go off. Dadati pratigranati guhyam akhyati prachate bhungte bhojayate chaiva sadvidam priti lakshanam. So, and I'll read the translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasad and offering prasad are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. So, I was, as Krishna Prabhu said, I was thinking of this theme of relationships, you know, and this verse so much resonates with the beautiful realizations that the devotees have shared today. And I'm so happy to see that, Avinash Krishna Prabhuji and Sarvasiddhi Mataji, they're really taking such nice care of your devotees. Because why the theme resonates with what I was thinking as well was that the most important thing in one's life is relationships, I think, you know. Even in our spiritual progress or our spiritual journey, A is association of devotees. It's the most important thing. When Srila Prabhupada was asked, would you choose to have association of devotees or being alone in solitary doing devotional service, Srila Prabhupada chose association of devotees. So it's very, very, very important. And be it our personal life, whether we were not Krishna conscious also. On a personal note, I think I was very, very fortunate to have wonderful friends in my life as when I was young. And I was able to share, you know, and as in this verse, it says that there are 6 types of reciprocation. But the important thing that I really felt was to be able to reveal one's mind. And in today's world, who will you be able to reveal your mind to? You know, to a person who is not going to be judgmental, but who is your really well-wisher. Like Srila Prabhupada, you know, it's a sign, you're ever well-wisher. And Srila Prabhupada, when has signed that ever well-wisher, he's given this blessings with the signature to all of these wonderful devotees who are trying to follow this Krishna conscious movement. And each and every one who is very sincerely following it is actually a well-wisher of everyone else that they're serving. So I found that, you know, today in the realizations, the devotee is mentioning this, and it was making me feel so wonderful that devotees are experiencing that. And I should say that it's very, very fortunate for anyone to have a really good, true friend who you can confide in. In today's world, there is so much selfishness, so much personal motive behind relationships. So to find a person who you can confide in and get a solution which is for your betterment is very, very good. And the thing that I also read was that there is in a research that the most important factor for a person to feel was it I do not remember exactly, but was it the question asked about when people were dying at that time, what was the thing that depressed them the most or whatever? It was loneliness. So loneliness was said that it is one thing where you can be in a crowd of hundreds and you can still feel lonely, because you may not have a person, not one single person who you could confide in. And that is a very, very sad situation to be in. So when we started this weekend Hare Krishna programs, I remember Srila Gurudev instructing personally to Prabhuji and then also to myself to keep this very, very sincere and to have no politics and to sincerely try to help each other, because we are fighting, as Krishna was mentioning, we are trying to fight against so many battles in our life. There is your 3 types of miseries. Then you have either other forces, or you have your own mental state of mind that can also cause miseries. But I think relationship, I really want to stress on that today. It's the most important factor, because you may be going through anything in your life. I have experiences personally in my life as well, whether it might be exams or whether it might be anything else. You can still deal with it if you have people who really care about you, and you can, cross that ocean of or phase, so to say, as Namrata Mataji was saying, there's good phases and bad phases. It's always like waves, and we just have to cross over. I also wanted to mention that we always wanted to try to come to a point where you have to imagine that you're trying to go, your destination is to go back to Godhead. So I cannot just, as we say, we do whatever we want to do and you add Krishna in your life. But you have to still change. You have to change your attitude, because you want to prepare yourself for being eligible to go to that spiritual realm. And we shouldn't wait. Like I tell myself, I shouldn't wait that, one day I'm going to do all these things and I'm going to go back to Godhead. I don't know, I done enough? And I think for that also the consciousness is very, very important. That what is my consciousness? Am I actually training my mind to be in that consciousness, in that conscious state of mind where I am eligible to go? So for that also, I think the relationship that we have with each other is very, very important. It's so important that we are very clean in our heart. And I'm so happy to see that, Prabhuji and Mataji, Abhinav Krishna Prabhu and Sarvasiddhi Mataji being mentioned so many times today, that the devotees are feeling that. It's very, very nice to hear that. And I'm sure even all the other devotees who are preaching are also following the same consciousness. And Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada will be very, very pleased with this. So only thing is that when we come across a person, at least personally, I always feel that if I come across a person who is really, really concerned about me, then I will hold on to them so tight. I'll never let them go. So sometimes, that there will be difficulties, because relationships means difficulties, right? It's never smooth. But you have to catch the essence, what is important and what are they trying to say. So because we are also working within this material realm. We are not perfected our, senses, or we are not perfect. At least I am not. So we have to tolerate that, and the tolerance comes from both levels. But it's really, really wonderful. And I think, that's why our name, I always feel we can. When we used to do, just a small point, when we used to do services, whether we do any service, and we used to have these discussions about, we are doing this, we want to do this prasadam distribution, or we want to do this decoration or anything like that. I remember that whenever we used to discuss this, all the devotees, they always said, yes, we can do it. Sometimes I used to feel they are just saying we can do it. Can we actually do it? But I do not remember a single time anyone's having a problem put forward in the sense that we cannot do it. There will be issues that we need to address, and that is fine. That's how you solve the problem. But never this attitude from the devotees that, oh no, it's too hard, we can't do it. It's always, yes, we can do it. And they will say, but we have this, how can we solve this? So I think it is very, very important. That's why the name we can, like I cannot do it myself and you cannot do it yourself, but together we can. That's our logo. And I really, I feel like it's something that is manifesting and happening. And it's a very nice feeling. It's enthusiasm, from all of you also inspires us. It's very inspiring to see everyone so lovingly having nice relationships. And I hope that we can always keep that going. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. It's very nice. By the way, wecan stands for West and Central Auckland Namhat. Just like MRF, it stands for Madras Rubber Factory. So wecan stands for West and Central Auckland Namhat. But it's got other meaning also. Together we can is our motto. Individually we cannot, I cannot, neither can you, but together we can. Help each other to go back to Godhead. Very nice, thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, go back to speak next now.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for sharing your very nice realizations. And yes, Mataji, Kun Pragya Mataji, I remember our services all the time, and we were so enthusiastic to do anything, and together we did it, always did it, by the mercy of all devotees and Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada. So yeah, we have to go forward again. We have to do more services in the lotus feet of our Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada, and together we can do again. So my realization is today from a post Amrish Prabhu has put. Amrish Prabhu every day is from Amrish Prabhuji is sharing Bhagavad Gita verses. So I would like to share this verse from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse number 8. Niyatam kuru karma swam karmatvam karma jyayo hi karmanah sharir yatra pi chate na prasiddhet akarmanah. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Perform your prescribed duty, for action is better than inaction. A man cannot even maintain his physical body without work. So, as Krishna Samarpan Prabhuji has already told us that how people are actually in the garb of sannyasi, they are the face they are showing, some of them, not all of them, the face they are showing is the nice face in public, but there could be some other face as well. So here also Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, there are many pseudo meditators who mispresent themselves as belonging to high parentage and great professional men who falsely pose that they have sacrificed everything for the sake of advancement in spiritual life. So what I understand from this verse is that Krishna is very clearly mentioning here that one has to perform his prescribed duty, not do something which is not prescribed in the Shastras. Doing something else, showing something else is very, very wrong. Krishna consciousness does not encourage one to become lazy at all. In fact, a devotee works very hard, but not for sense gratification, but for spiritual advancement. And as we have seen by example, Srila Prabhupada has shown us how hard working he was. He was just taking rest for 3 to 4 hours, that's all, translating the whole night for the benefit of all of us, cooking, cleaning, doing all the lectures, traveling. And in his old age, when he was 69 to 70 years old, when people want to take rest all the time, and he was doing 24/7 everything. So we have to be very, very active in our devotional service. Each one of us has to work as per our social order. Either we are brahmachari or grihasth or vanprasthi or sannyasi. So in all of our ashramas, because these are ashramas, there's some regulation. We have to follow those rules. And if we are actually following the rules and leading our life according to that, then there is always hope that we will reach. We will be able to serve Srila Prabhupada. So there are people who show off themselves as a very renounced person, but in fact they are just pretending to be renounced and indirectly engaging themselves in sense gratification. This is happening. This is the Kali Yuga, and we know that most of the people are like that, showing off something else, and in fact they are something else. Perform the service enthusiastically in any stage of our life for the satisfaction of Krishna. Keep Krishna in the center of all our activities. So one of the points which I would like here is that we have to act with determination, enthusiasm, and being very honest. If there is no honesty, then devotional service cannot be performed. Honesty is the key. There is a verse also in Nectar of Instructions, which I would like to share. Utsaha nishchaya dharya tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat satu vritte shadvir bhakti prasidhyati. And the translation is, there are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. Number 1, being enthusiastic. Number 2, endeavoring with confidence. Number 3, being patient. Number 4, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. Number 5, abandoning the association of non-devotees. And number 6, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Our goal is to achieve pure devotional service, and if we act on these lines, then there is surety, which Srila Rupa Goswami says. While there was a question when we were reading this verse, so we checked with Amrish Prabhu that because it is not possible to associate only with devotees, because we have to go to workplace, we have to meet other people as well. So how can we actually perform our devotional service without meeting these people? and then how can we protect our bhakti? And then Amrish Prabhuji said that Srila Gurudev, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj has said that your life should be very straight. You have to walk on very straight line. You just go to your work. In the morning, you do all your Mangalarti, your chanting, your cooking, everything, and then just pack your tiffin, go to your work. And as soon as you finish your work, just come to home, take shower, do your devotional service, and your chanting, whatever is left, and read the books given by Srila Prabhupada. That's all. That way you can protect your bhakti. And that way, actually, we are just doing, because we have to maintain our body, our family, everything. So that way we are actually doing, we are living in the Grihastha ashram as well, and protecting our bhakti as well. And Srila Prabhupada, I was listening one of his lectures, and Srila Gurudev says that actually a grihastha person is like a sannyasi, because basically he is doing everything for his family. He is not keeping anything to himself. So basically, even living in grihastha ashram, he is living like a sannyasi. So he's better than a sannyasi basically, because he's also supporting all other ashramas. So this was very nice lecture by Srila Gurudev. So what I get it from this verse is that whatever activities we have to do to maintain our body, to keep our body and soul together, we have to do. We have to give 100% on that. We cannot leave it, but in the same manner, keeping in the center Lord Krishna. We are just the servants of Krishna, and when we are doing in that way, performing our things, our all activities, then surely we have hope to go back to Godhead, to serve Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev. That's my realization for the day. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna was very nice. Thank you very much for a wonderful realization. It's very nice, very practical application. Thank you very much for taking care of the devotees so nicely. Very nice. Both of you, husband and wife. Navata Mata Vishaka Prabhu. They are Maharaja devotees, you know. The quiet Maharaja devotees too. Navata Mata Vishaka. To let you know their secrets later on. You don't want to embrace them. Wonderful. Okay. So who would like to be next? I think we've completed. Please feel free. We'll wait for 10 seconds. Please feel free. Part is there. We're going to skip part or not? What's happening?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Parth is giving some examination during this period, so I don't know why.
Okay. I realize. No problem.
I don't know.
Okay. No problem. We'll wait for 10 seconds before wrapping up today's program. We'll wait for 10 seconds. No problem. Okay, while we wait, now I think next week's program we'll keep it as Q&A program, as you normally do after realizations. So many of us have some questions on the realizations and each other, so you can write down, but please write down your realizations, put it in your respective beginners program, intermediate program, or leaders program, and your questions. Sorry, if you can give it to me by Wednesday, it will be wonderful. Then we can compile it. But it is very true. What was mentioned today, I think what Vivanshi Mataji said about Avinash was saying, that you've not met, but you don't feel like not meeting, you already met. Yeah. Okay, I think we should we complete today's program. And whose turn is it today to sing Maharaj? Maharaj, please hear us. Whose is it?
Hare Krishna Babuji. I think it's
Hare-
Subhadra's turn.
Yes, Subhadra's turn. Subhadra is coming. It's just closing the
Subhadra
camera.
is here. Subhadra is coming. Okay, come. तुम्ही बरे आहात ना?
Madhav, come this side, Madhav.
हा छान आहे, खूप छान. मी पण छान आहे, खूप छान. ठणठणीत. जय सुभद्रा.
Come this side, please.
Hello, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, we cannot see you. Subhadra, we cannot see you.
No, we can.
Start a video. If you can start a video.
Yeah, we can see her.
Yeah, we can see her. Just move forward close to camera.
You can see her?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay, my camera is on this. No, I can't see you. What's going on?
Yeah, Dolly Mataji's video.
Dolly, you can see her.
Okay, let's start. Let's start. 1, 2, 3, Subhadra. कैसे ठीक है आप?
I'm good, Prabhuji.
I cannot see you. Very nice. और माधव भी ठीक है? माधव ठीक है आप? I can't see him if he's there or not.
We are.
Madhav
He
Sharma.
is.
Very nice. Sharma रहे हैं माधव जी, as usual. Okay, all right, good. Okay, start. 1, 2, 3, start.
Maharaj, please hear us. Maharaj, please hear us. We have learned some very good stuff.
We have learned some real good stuff.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
And today for you we will sing. And if I we will sing. If our room is clean, if our room is clean, then our mind is clean. Then our mind is clean. If our mind is clean,
If our mind is clean,
we can do anything.
we can do anything.
If our room is dirty, then so are we.
Then so are we.
But if we are dirty,
But if we are dirty,
we're not happy.
we are not happy.
Wasting time.
Wasting time
is the greatest crime.
is the greatest crime.
Because wasted time.
Because wasted time
means a wasted mind.
means a wasted mind.
The best of your time.
So best use your time.
When you're in your prime.
When you're in your prime.
In your whole life.
And in your
will be sublime.
will be sublime.
If your wealth is gone.
If your wealth is gone,
Then that's it. Then there's nothing wrong.
then there is nothing wrong.
But if your health is gone.
If your health is gone,
That's a different song.
that's a different song.
If your characters die.
Characters die.
Then the world will cry.
Then the world will cry.
Only saintly behavior.
Only saintly behavior. That's a
humanity thrive.
That's humanity thrive.
Krishna, Krishna. Rama, Rama. We must always remember Krishna.
We must always remember Krishna
And never forget him too.
and never forget him too.
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
That is the greatest question.
That is the greatest question.
And here is the greatest clue.
Here is the greatest clue. You must
learn to say nicely that Krishna remembers you.
You must learn to walk so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
So listen very closely. So listen very closely. Make your thinking sharp.
And make your thinking sharp.
Let's learn how we can live in one so Krishna won't depart.
Let's learn how we can live and learn so Krishna won't depart.
Something to do tomorrow.
If something to do tomorrow,
Finish it today.
finish it today.
Whatever's due today.
Whatever's due today,
Do it now. Don't delay.
do it now, don't delay.
Your friends might be lazy.
Your friends might be lazy
Or doing bad things.
or doing bad things.
But you think again.
But you think again,
Don't follow them.
don't follow them.
You move in the end.
You're moving back.
Whatever we're forgiven.
Whatever work you give,
We do our very best.
we do our very best.
We only live with what we need and pay Krishna the rest.
We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest.
This is how to live. Work and to play. If you learn to live this way, you'll see Krishna every day.
This is how to live, to work and to play. You learn to live this way, you will see Krishna every day.
When our time is up, he'll take us up above. We'll sing and dance with him with our hearts full of love.
And when the time is up, we'll take us up above. Sing and dance with him with the heart full of love.
So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. Is the only endless world who can ever be contained.
So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. It's only when this world will ever be contained.
Now please ask this greatest question.
Now please ask this greatest question.
Find this greatest clue.
And find this greatest clue.
You can only remember Krishna.
You can only remember Krishna
If Krishna remembers you.
if Krishna remembers you.
On mute, Prabhuji. Sorry, you're on mute.
Jai Varnashila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtan Mahayagna ki Jai. Jishananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki Jai. Nisai God Chandra Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutara Shivali Mahavishnu Goswami ki Namini. Shubhodaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutara Shivali Bhakti Vedanta Swami ki Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Krishna Nati Vishesh Shubhari Krishna Devi Hare Krishna. So we missed Path Prabhu's realizations today. But nonetheless, he may have some questions for next week. So we will meet you next week. Same place, same time. Krishna willing. Till then, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Hare Krishna. Remember, by Wednesday, end of the day, 9 o'clock your time, just write down your questions to us. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.